Have you received any overtures from Republicans when it comes to negotiating health care?
I have not received any overtures, nor have I in the entire time that I've been in Congress and since we've passed the Affordable Care Act, gotten any sort of alternatives to the ACA, also known as Obamacare. And with regard to the president giving us all a couple of $1,000s for our health savings account, last time I checked, that really didn't work. Last time I checked, and I've been around for a while, people have had these health care plans, as it were, that barely cost anything, had high deductibles, didn't provide any health care at all, and it looks like Obamacare is on life support right now.
Well, if we do not see an extension of these COVID-era subsidies that we've been talking about straight through the shutdown, this is a big reason why Democrats and Republicans could not get on the same page. What happens to people in Wisconsin? This is something that could cause premiums to double or quadruple depending on where you are.
Yeah, that's true. 114%, and that's an average. But it's even more than that. I had a conversation with folks this weekend, you know, and they've been seeing and listening to something other than the TV commercials and Republican and Democratic talking points. They are actually getting the proposals in the mail. And they can see that they've gone from paying, you know, $150 for coverage to like $800 a month for coverage. Just a couple of people I talked to this weekend. You know, so the whole notion that costs are going down under President Trump's administration, and they're going to have an alternative. I mean, people are not stupid. They are experiencing this shift.
Congresswoman, the president, you might have heard me mention, is going to be having an event with McDonald's owners and operators this evening. And we've heard from McDonald's just a couple of weeks ago in its earnings report, and it told us that low-income customers were actually falling off its list of customers, and that people with more money were trading down. If we're in a world now, I don't know if you prefer an extra value meal or the dollar menu at McDonald's, Congresswoman, but if we're in a world where low-income people are not able to afford a $1 meal or whatever it costs for an extra value meal at McDonald's, what does that tell us about where we are here in the affordability conversation?
Well, the extra value meals are no longer an extra value. You know, of course, I fed my kids, my grandkids on McDonald's. And I mean, this is one of the canaries in the coal mine. When you can't afford to just drive through without being concerned that you're spending your kids' lunch money for the whole week when you drive through one time. You know, that's a measurement of people's well-being. People don't have to discern whether or not they can afford a lobster. When you can't take your kids drive through McDonald's, you know you're in trouble.
Well, that might be where we are here, depending on how this all works out. Congresswoman, the president is putting exemptions on certain food items when it comes to tariffs. If you're with us on Bloomberg TV, you can see him reaching out of the drive-through window there from the campaign trail. What are we going to see happen to prices when it comes to food and energy in the weeks ahead?
Well, price volatility, the way it goes, I don't know that people are going to experience those drops right away. You know, a lot of these tariffs have been baked into the economy. I have one vendor in my district, and I won't mention the name, but they bought some equipment to expand their business. Those tariffs have been paid, and they've already had to either pay them or bake them into the price of their product. I mean, you can't just hit the undo button on everything. And I think that that's where we are. Our farmers in Wisconsin, I represent Milwaukee, but I'm very sensitive to the farm-to-table catastrophe. Our farmers have completely lost all their markets for their soybeans to China. You can't just hit the undo button and snap your fingers and have that return.
You know, the next vote you might take, from what we understand, is on this discharge petition to release the Epstein files, Congresswoman. The president has turned a 180 on this to tell Republicans to vote for it. So this could pass, we understand, with a pretty remarkable vote tomorrow. I'm wondering if you expect a unanimous result and to what extent this has hit your conference as a Democrat.
Well, I can tell you, if the president has told Republicans to vote for it, I'm sure they will. Of course, this is a defensive tactic on his part, because what he'll do is he'll say that, oh, we're investigating this thing. We're looking at what Democrats, Larry Summers or Bill Clinton has done. We're investigating it. So therefore, the Justice Department just can't release the information. You know, the bottom line is that the President of the United States does not want his relationship with Epstein, which, you know, is extensive and over long periods of time and is at least embarrassing to come out.